got to feel in heaven when my lover's near. Lord, let this moment last for another year. Though today has ended, the night's still young, I'd say. Lover, don't go away. Let it be the thing that I am longing for. Let's fly out from Manhattan to the California shore, just to watch the ships at night on the San Francisco Bay. Oh, lover, please, please stay. Don't say you have to go. Don't say you need to run. I'll stop the clock on Central Station and we can have a drink downtown. Let it be the night that I am longing for. Let's fly down south to Austin or to Ecuador, just to drink pina colada on a hot, wet summer's day. Oh, lover, please, please stay. Don't say you have to go. Don't say you need to run. I'll stop the clock on Central Station and we can have a drink downtown. Let it be the night that I've been longing for. Let's fly down south to Austin or to Ecuador, just to drink pina colada on a hot, wet...
Hey, welcome to Stir Crazy Sankaset. I'm the Divine Danny D.
I am Elle Diabloe.
And we are dancing to our own theme song.
I think that's allowed.
I think so. I'm really quite fond of that theme song.
I think it would also be weird if we just stood here.
Yes, very politely.
Politely waiting.
Well, it would be Canadian. Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Stir Crazies. Welcome to our Canada Day special, the day after Canada Day, which is also a very Canadian thing to do.
Yep.
Crazy
you know
Canucks.
me, I'm always late. I'll turn up, but I'm always late. So
Crazy Canucks to Canada.
Anybody else having a problem with Canada Day this year? I had a problem. I don't know. I wasn't.
I've never really paid attention.
I know. Well, you think patriotism is stupid.
I do think that, right? But yes, I do. But we'll get into that.
Eventually.
I've got a whole tirade about that later.
Oh, planned.
Oh, it's planned, man. It's planned. Excellent. Welcome to the show. If you've never been here before, we are in Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
See?
We are both burlesque performers. I am a host, comedian, producer.
I am also a host and not so funny, but no, just
you're hilarious.
I'm hilarious. I'm a host and burlesque dancer and producer and choreographer, and we've been stuck in our house for some 13 plus shows now.
This is our 14th show.
This is our 14th show.
14th
That's
show.
Wild.
I know. It's and this has become so much fun. I don't want to stop doing it. Well, so this feed will officially never end.
Ever.
We're on
in perpetuity.
Yeah. For this is our life now. No, but I've been having...
Send help.
No, I'm having so much fun doing the show.
It is true.
You guys have been absolutely incredible.
It is true.
Generous with your comments, generous with your compliments, generous with your money.
Your feedback.
It's
financial
incredible.
and otherwise. We thank you immensely.
Yeah, we love it. So if it's your first time watching the show, welcome. It's a really fun place to hang. Everybody, there's lots of people going on in the chat. Say hi. Talk to each other.
We'll pop over there in a moment.
We will. It's Canada Day. It's Canada Day.
It's
Canada Day.
It's a conundrum.
Special, which means we are going to make some food that is Canadian. And I'm very excited about the food we're making tonight.
I'm
so excited.
I think it's kind of a funny story that I had never tasted.
You had never had
food.
this.
I am ashamed of a lot of things these days, but I'm ashamed to say that I've
sort of
never.
Your go-to mode, isn't it?
It really is. I don't know if it's the Irish Jewish thing or what, but
I believe it's pronounced Irish.
Irish-ish.
Irish-ish. I had that.
I've never been to the Maritimes.
You've never been to the Maritimes.
I've never been.
I've lived in the Maritimes.
I know you have, but
I lived there for a couple of years.
I have never been there, and it's tisk on me, but I really do want to go.
Is anybody who's watching right now, anybody from the Maritimes or has lived in the Maritimes?
Or currently residing in the Maritimes?
If you don't, sell a friend who's in the Maritimes that we're on, and we're talking about them.
Did you say sell a friend?
Sell a friend.
Sell your friends.
A friend. Don't ever sell your friends. Rent them.
So yeah, I had never actually tasted this meal or food or treat that we are making tonight, and I know it's one of your favorites.
It is one of the greatest drunk foods on the planet. Every city has their drunk food. Montreal is very known for its poutine. Mm-hmm. If you're drunk, it's the end of the night, you've gone to a club, you need something at that 3 o'clock.
Or smoked meat.
Or smoked meat. Vancouver, we're very big on street pizza. Chinese food is also a big one. Quebec, in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and a lot of the Maritimes, but specifically in Halifax, where I live, there is one drunk food, and it is donair from King of Donair at Donair Corner, and it's called Donair Corner just simply because there's about 3 Donairs places. One corner has a church. It is the Church of Donair, and it is the most delicious drunk food you could ever have. It's salty, it's sweet,
which is normally
so
not my jam. Like normally I'm salty, not salty sweet. But we tried it, we made it, I did it. Woo! It was quite tasty, if I do say so myself. So we're going to do it again tonight. So we're making Halifax style donair, and you are making.
I'm making some cocktails. I was trying to figure out like there's very few Canadian cocktails besides the Caesar, which we've done a version of. And then everything else, when you look up Canadian cocktails, you get a lot of maple variations on things, which I love maple syrup, but I think it should not be our legacy. So what I did is there's an amazing website called Difford's Guide. Difford's Guide is a cocktail website. They have so many amazing recipes. And one of the things I love to do is find recipes based on cities. So I have found what they are calling the official cocktail of your hometown, Montreal, and my hometown, Vancouver. And I'm going to be making both of those tonight. And they're really nice because they're not, if you don't like your cocktails, if you like cocktails to be less sweet, some people don't get into cocktail because they just think it's going to be sugary and sweet and candy drinks. These are nice. There's a lot of alcohol in these. These are all alcohol based. There's no syrups. There's no juices.
So what we're doing is we're doing a whole drunk night in Halifax in 2 hours.
Exactly. We're going to get drunk.
We're going to get drunk and then
have
eat
donair.
Okay.
Sounds
Are
good.
you with us?
You guys in?
Let's do it.
Let's go over and say hi to everybody on the chat cam. I hit the button. Hi, everybody. I'm just switching to the stinger.
New time zone, new kitchen for Alicia. Awesome.
Oh, excellent. Hi, Alicia. How are you?
And Amanda.
Yannick is here.
Salut,
Marie-Eve. For everybody waiting on aprons, they're coming very,
they
very
are
soon.
coming. We had a Canada Post malfunction.
Canada Post decided to be Canada Post. Do you know what it is?
Hello, Joseph. Hello,
Joseph
Misty.
is here. My mom is here. Matthew Quinn. I don't know who Matthew Quinn is. We have people. I love when we have people I don't know. That's fantastic.
DIY Muggle Guy?
Dan's connection cut it out.
Oh.
Hopefully.
All right. We'll get you back.
We'll have to deal with that in a bit. Oh, yeah, okay,
Hold on,
cool.
Misty says from Newfoundland, which isn't actually the Maritimes.
No, Newfoundland, well, it's weird, yeah.
Well,
because,
don't debate it. That's where she's from.
yeah, but it's one of my favorite debates in the world. Is it called Newfoundland or is it...
Newfoundland?
No, Labrador, Newfoundland.
Or
Newfoundland, Labrador. And depending on who you ask, it seems to be different every time. Bonnie is there all the way from out in BC.
It's an eastern.
It's an eastern province. Well, theoretically, all the Maritimes are eastern provinces, so you can't really get around that. They're all in the east.
It is.
What is funny is when people in Quebec call themselves an eastern province.
No. I mean, we're if you were to divide the country in half, we are
easterly, but you're more
easter.
central than east.
East.
Yeah, you know. Excellent. There's a ton of people here. We're so glad. I love when we come in. There's lots of people in the chat. There's a bunch of people on YouTube. Fantastic. This is going to be a good show. This is going to be really good food. If you are cooking along, you're going to have a delicious meal tonight. If you are not cooking along, you're going to wish you would.
Oh, I'm learning things, but I am from the island part, which is Newfoundland. Ha ha ha.
Ah, yes.
Aha ha ha.
I don't know why that's funny. And what even Misty Portugal doesn't even know.
What does?
She's going to be on the show tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Misty is going to be on the show. She doesn't even know it.
Oh, oh, it's true. Surprises for you. Personal surprises.
Let's go back to the play.
Hi, Ruby Rose.
Hi, Ruby. Let's go back. Woo! Excellent.
I'm hyper.
I am a little bit ready to go.
Hyper. All right, so
I think before we do that, let's get all sexified. I'm going to come over here.
Oh, yes, aprons.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to ruin my tragically hip shirt. Because...
Ladies and gentlemen, we are stir crazies. I got to stop doing that, but I keep trying. Stir Crazy aprons are out. This is also, we still have these going on.
We have a few.
We have a few, very few.
Like
but if you want a Stir Crazy apron, you can still get one. The way we're doing it right now is in the chat, you should see a comment that is about our tipping or donating to us. You can either go to our Amazon wish list, which is in the chat, the link to it. Mm-hmm. And from there, if you buy anything over $25 for us, you will automatically get an apron sent to you. Or if you want to go to our PayPal tip jar, if you tip over $25, you will get a Stir Crazy apron mailed to you. They're actually really great aprons too.
Because it's got pockets.
It's got pockets.
It's got pockets.
So
and everybody loves pockets.
So you can play puppets.
And put your utensils in there.
Yeah, fantastic.
Or other
full of cocaine.
You could put your weed in it.
There you go.
All right.
And I go in differently, didn't we?
That's how we do.
Yeah. So here we go. Hey, let me get that. I can help. I was going to help.
Oh, well, I got it.
Okay.
All right. You do not need to use a standing mixer for this. I am lazy, so I don't want to have to over-pound my meat. I know. So yeah, I'm using this. You don't have to. Danny and I were talking about it the other day, and he suggested potentially throwing it into a food processor so you get it more like a paste. What we're trying to do, if you've never had a Halifax donair, and it's so funny that I am the person explaining this, is, but if you've had a kebab or if you've had a shawarma or anything that's shaved meat, this is the same kind of idea. But because we're not building a spit of shaved meat in our kitchen, nor do I suspect you are at home, we're going to do it kind of like a loaf, and then we're going to slice it super skinny so we get the same kind of idea, but without having to make a massive spit of beaucoup meat. Yeah?
Sorry, my battery was dying on my bike.
That's all right.
Yours is probably going to die soon, so I brought you some batteries.
Oh, thank you.
When you don't have to talk, but you'll be fine for a little bit.
I just want to go.
Thank you, Robin Williams.
You're welcome. So, I've got a pound of...
let me get this, because you got that in front of it. It's a little hard to see, so I'm
indeed
going to come in with the fly cam.
And, yes, and in a second, we're going to give you some ingredients as well.
Oh, yes.
We've got a pound of ground beef here.
Well, that's hard to do that.
I know, it's hard to do all of the things.
You can't see the ingredients on the fly cam. I haven't set that up yet.
Oh, you're fired.
I'm sorry.
So,
you got a new husband.
Do they sell them at the store?
At the husband
store? Can I rent one?
Yes, you can rent a husband. Rent a husband.
On the plate, and I'm going to wait for a second so we can fly cam.
We can still fly cam it while people are on that. We'll come in and fly cam on that.
We've got our special blend of herbs and spices. We have some salt, oregano, garlic powder, onion powder, cayenne pepper, and paprika.
About how much of each of that?
All of those ingredients are up there.
I'll bring it back up again.
The other day when I did it, I used a full teaspoon of of cayenne, and it was très spicy.
A little spicy.
It was like
a little spicier than usual, but I mean, there should always be a little bit of spice. But it's.
We don't want.
I will say one thing. I mean, I lived in Halifax for a couple of years, so I'm a little bit generalizing, but I will say, not generally the spiciest food.
No, understood. But you still don't. Again, no one likes a bland meat.
Nobody likes a bland meat.
It's true.
There we are. There's the ingredients back
there
again.
There you go.
They're right over here.
You could probably, you can always get away with throwing in more garlic if you want to, if that's how you roll.
You're just looking for a seasoned meat.
Yes, a seasoned meat.
Seasoned meat. Now you were saying that, you mentioned it before about making it finer if you want.
Yes, I was saying you said something about putting it in the food processor to make it more of a...
When I had made this before, you put it in the food processor to really take that ground meat and get it even fine. So it is like a paste because you got to remember this is generally put on a spit. You did all that.
I did all of this. It's really amazing how live.
I was doing that.
I understand, but now the world knows that you don't listen when I speak.
What?
The other reason I'm doing this, I know. The other reason I'm doing this, not only to blend the spices in there, but when we're doing this, because again, we're trying to get it spit-like. That's on a spit-like, not too-like. We're going to try to take all the air bubbles out of it. So this is pretty well mixed together. Could you, darling, please kindly move that out of the way?
I will.
Now, here's the fun part, friends. You get to take out all of the angst that you have inside of yourself on this 4 pound of meat.
And if
we're going to knead it a little bit because we want to get the air bubbles out, right? So it's mixed, but
I want this to be as compact as possible.
Yep. So just give it a splatter, like honestly.
So you could say that what you're doing to your meat is
beating it.
You're beating your meat.
Live
on the internet, and it's not an OnlyFans account.
It is not. Right here, getting violent with my hamburger.
Bonnie says she does love these aprons.
Oh, well.
I think Bonnie, you should
you too can have one.
You too can have one.
You have to be careful when you do this because little bits of
your meat can go flying.
You can. Yep.
You could beat your meat senseless
into projectile.
So I've had that happen.
I don't want to know.
Well, I was making donaires.
Oh.
You are a saucy minx.
I am indeed. Can I ask you one more favor?
Of course.
In the drawer over there, we have some parchment.
Parchment. Oh, yes. I'll make you a little parchment.
A little parchment.
I'll make you a little parchment thing for you.
For my little pan. So this is pretty good. If you want to keep being violent with it, you can't. I mean, it's dead, right? So you're not going to hurt it.
I do hear it scream occasionally.
You still hear the lambs, Clarice.
I'm in a dark place.
Well, also, if you're a vegetarian, this is really not the best show to watch. But yeah.
There you
go. That looks pretty good. And then what we're going to do...
Oh, let me fly that in again so people can see what does really good look like.
It's like a
Let's go in here, coming in on fly.
You see, there's not a lot of air in there.
No.
It's like...
It's really compressed.
C'est très compressé. Comprimé, compressé, déprimé, comprimé. Yeah, there you go. That's how I try to figure out.
Well, there you are.
Yep. Is it depressed?
Depressed. If you're a cow, right now is a depressing.
It is probably a depressing moment. We have a small loaf pan. We have put a piece of parchment in it just because it'll be easier to lift this out afterwards. No muss, no fuss. You know how much I like it when things are easy. I probably should have taken my rings off, but I can wash my hands.
Do you want me to do it? I have no rings on.
It's true, but you've got a fly cam.
Okay.
And I'm just going to... I could fly.
You could be a fly girl.
I believe... No, I don't even want to. Never mind. Sorry. I did an accidental R. Kelly, and then I realized
I can't wait for when you do your Bill Cosby set next.
Stop. This is the most un-Canadian show ever. So I'm just getting it pushed down in there. Now, I cut this recipe down because originally the recipe made 8. And I figured, given that I know a lot of you are at home not cooking for 8, we cut it down so it makes 4. If, obviously, if I had left the full recipe, thank you. That's what we didn't do.
That's going to be a little bit of time.
That's okay. We can eat it raw before. No,
We forgot to heat the oven up. That's,
there's only so much we can be responsible.
that's how you can tell it's a live show. If this was taped,
because we screw up all the time.
We never had this. We don't screw up all the time, just 3/4 of the time.
All right, this is true. This is true. So we're just going to give our hands a little wash. And I'm going to set this into a bain-marie.
Oh, yes.
So
we'll get your other
it's
bain-marie.
actually, it's behind you.
Oh,
I was
is it?
so...
Oh, you are so...
I was so well prepared.
Oh, I didn't even...
The,
I'm so sorry. I was trying to be a good guy. And
you are a good guy.
Get this out of your way.
You're
Give that a
great,
rinse.
even. Great.
You do that, and I will take care of this.
This one doesn't... We're just going to fill up the bigger pan with some water so that the whole thing cooks more evenly. I appreciate that, but
I can still hear you.
I know they can still hear me. But
I'm just doing this.
I know, but I'm very
We've got
distractible.
so many microphones now.
When
we first started, you couldn't hear anything we said, and now I have so many microphones
that we can't hide.
All
right, very quickly, I'm just going to put some water in here. About,
About an inch high, or?
I'd say about. We want it to come up the sides of the pan, basically, but because they're not...
What is the bain-marie doing it to it?
I just said.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I didn't hear.
It's going to be one of those, guys.
Don't make fun of me.
It's so... And listen, when I'm talking, it's going to help it to cook more evenly.
But how is it doing that? That's the part I wasn't sure about.
Well, I wish I was more of a chemist.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you...
no, thank you for that.
I'm sorry.
I just did the thing because it's what
It's because the recipe said?
Basically.
All right.
I think the water has to do with the even distribution of
the steam gives it a little bit of...
I don't freaking know. Thanks. Bye.
What? You asked me the same... What? We got this. I'll move that out of the way.
Move that away.
We'll let that... Right now, we got to wait for the oven to heat up.
We do.
So,
unfortunately, even though we
neither of us, we were trying to figure out what we had to do before.
At least 4 times. We should probably turn on the oven. We should probably turn on the oven.
That's okay.
It is okay. We have something we could show them.
We do have something we should show them. Every week we do our promos.
Every week we do our promos.
Every week we try and do something a little different. And it was our second Canadian Crazy Canucks show. Mm-hmm. The first one was the
May Twofer.
The May Twofer, the quite infamous May Twofer promo, which got a lot of great response.
And which was hella Canadian.
Was very Canadian for you to do. And you were very... And I was... Something that's funny, I was listening to that and editing a couple of things. When I'm editing you, I never noticed it until I had to listen to you in headphones and edit you in video. How every now and then you slip into this really Canadian accent. I don't know where that comes from.
I see, and I don't hear it, but I did go to...
Every now and then.
I did go to summer camp in Northern Ontario, and that might have something to do with it. But...
When I started doing voiceover work originally, I noticed every now and then I would slip into it, and I don't know where it comes from. It's weird.
From Canada.
From Canada is a very fair thing.
So we had a few different ideas, and again...
Marie Eve Boucher says it's to create a gentle and uniform heat around the food.
Well, that's pretty much what I said, but then you asked me why, and I don't know why. I don't know why it does that.
Or how. It wasn't why. Why? Morals.
Thank you. So yeah, like I said before, we can get into it more a little bit later. We've been feeling really weird about patriotism lately and extolling the virtues of Canada without acknowledging the not so worthy in Canada. So we were kind of stuck a little bit for like...
We had a couple of weird ideas.
How do we do this?
Originally I wanted to do a sequel to May Twofer.
Yes.
Where you would go out and then there would be people out there
and I'd run away.
You would run away. Because none of them were wearing masks.
But that also involved having to go out and be
around people.
And, no, not so much. And then we were thinking of those Canadian heritage moments. I
Yes.
don't know how old you have to be to remember those, but part of our heritage was a thing that
The
ran
Canadian,
for
the hockey mask one was always burned into my head.
I mean, the Superman one.
The Superman one, and the other one is the Canadian flag one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's less burned in my head because of that, and more because when the Comedy Network started, they were doing comedy parodies of it, and when they did the flag one, and they just started putting up all these weird, funny versions of the flag.
Yeah.
So we were thinking of doing that,
and then we thought, and that we thought that was a bit of a deep dive. That it was maybe people weren't going to remember that. So I wanted to parody the I Am Canadian Molson commercial to kind of balance out.
and I still think that we're older.
A little bit. I mean, I know.
You
Speak
hold
for
up
yourself.
well. I just hold up. And then we had the luck that your sister let us take care of her dog
And
for a weekend, and there is a
We had no
great
choice.
Canadian show. If you haven't seen it before, make sure you do. But if you have
it's
seen
on
it,
the YouTube.
you'll know it. So, Stir Crazies, we give you this week's promo.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. On my couch is where I'll always be.
I just wanna leave and make a new friend. Can't risk it all, just turn on Tiger King again.
Maybe tomorrow this COVID thing will end. Until tomorrow I'll just keep staying in. So if you wanna join me, stay back a mile.
Just grab your mask and hazmat suit, that's COVID style.
Maybe tomorrow this COVID thing will end. Until tomorrow I'll just keep staying in.
That's better. Hi, I'm Elle Diabloe.
I'm the Divine Danny D.
Join us this Thursday, July 2nd at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest edition of the Stir Crazy 5 à 7. It's time yet again for these Canucks to get a little crazy.
Wait, does that mean we're playing hockey?
No, it means we're making food and drinks like we always do.
Oh, good, because I'm lousy at hockey.
To celebrate the Great White North, we will be making a classic drunk treat, the Halifax-style Gunny.
And to accompany city cocktails respective of both of our hometowns, Montreal and Vancouver, respectively. It's really good that neither of us is from Conception Bay.
So join us, cook with us, drink with us.
Or just join in all the fun and socialize, but distantly.
Check the description below for your ingredients and all the crazy details.
Or just visit YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitter, or Twitch at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursday, July 2nd, and join in all that fun!
What's that, boy? Timmy fell down the well.
No, I think he just can't work the remote. I'm getting really tired of watching Tiger King.
Hey, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Thanks for watching our video.
If you want to see something else that's cool, just click on one of these things over here.
Over there?
Or it could be down there.
Might be down there.
I don't know where it is.
There's a subscribe button, though. It's somewhere. It's red. You should hit that.
We're not your parents. We had a dog.
We had a dog on the counter.
He was adorable.
He was adorable.
I do quite enjoy the fact that neither of us acknowledged that there was a dog on the counter.
Well, you know.
If
That
you-
dog is super cute.
Yeah. If you hadn't seen that before, you'd like to see some more of the promos we've done, because they've all been weird little films and some of the other stuff. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, at youtube.com/StirCrazyShow. Hit the subscribe button. That way you'll get a you'll be you can get everything there easily, and if you hit the bell button, you can get notifications.
Notifications,
Yeah,
even.
that's always handy, and it's great, especially if you want to watch the show. You can set a reminder for every episode we put up, and it's very handy.
Indeed.
Oh, you want to have a drink?
I would love to have
You
a
guys
drink.
want to have a drink? We are going to
wants to
start
drink.
with the Montreal. I think it's only. I don't need anything.
Oh, you need
don't
not-
need that.
Oh,
don't even
okay.
need that. I have everything I need.
I saw a
I know you see
citron
this.
without the
This is
citron
just going to be for
squeezer.
garnish. We're going to use the peel for garnish later. We're going to make the Montreal cocktail. Both cocktails tonight. There's going to be no shaking involved, unfortunately.
No
It's going to be
shaking.
a stirring cocktail, but you can do the stir dance.
You can do a stirring dance.
So if you have your stirring glass, now's the time to get it. If you don't, you just have a shaker. You can stir inside of that. Just make sure you have your lovely stir spoon with you. This is for making this. This is actually a very simple cocktail to make. It's 4 different alcohols. The main spirits we're going to have a little bit of rye,
Because Canada.
a little bit of gin,
Because not
because
whatever.
Europe. A little bit of Aperol
Italy.
to give us a little bit of a fruity flavor to it, and a little bit of Suze.
What is a Suze?
Suze is Genetian liqueur. It's a very bitter liqueur. This drink is going to have a very boozy feel to it, with a little bit of a bitter element to it.
Hold on
The
to this moment
Aperol.
while we're still speaking clearly.
The Aperol is still sweet, but it also has a little. So you're going to get this real sort of bitter notes with even in the gin, and then the smokiness of the rye underneath. That sort of. What else would you like to make fun of me about?
No, it just looked like it was fun, and that
It is fun. This is a fun
more.
drink. Now, this drink is actually. This isn't a very old drink. This drink was invented in 2017 for the 375th anniversary of Montreal. It was invented. I wrote this down. What's his name? Kevin Demers, who is the bartender at Cold Room in the Old Port.
Probably Demers, but
Demers? Well, it's 2 M's, so I would think it's. Oh, it is 1 M. So Demers. But it was actually made by 15 different bartenders, collaborated on making this single drink.
because apparently this is what Montreal tastes like.
This was this was Montreal in glass,
Okay.
which is ironic that it's quite bitter.
I'm like, no, that sounds about right. Sounds about right.
For building this drink, it's very simple. It's 3/4 of an ounce of each of these items.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with our bitter element. So we're going to start off 3/4 of an ounce of Suze. Suze is quite a yellow. It's like a chartreuse.
It's like chartreuse.
Yeah, it's like a chartreuse. It's that same sort of kind of roots.
Here, I'm just going to do a thing that's.
Would you like a
probably
taste? Here.
I don't know about
There
this
you go.
stuff.
There you go. And I'm making 2, so of course I'm going to do each of these 3/4 of an ounce twice. Next, we're going to go with the Aperol.
Interesting.
You want to put the recipe up there?
Yes,
Billy?
I definitely do. I was just busy going, interesting.
We're going to go with a London dry gin. In this case, I'm using the Luxardo, which I've come to absolutely love. It has become one of my absolute favorite gins. The Luxardo London dry is really nice. But again, if you have Bombay or, there's any of those standards. Yeah, those are great gins. And then rye. Right now I'm just using a straight up Canadian Club 100% rye. There's not much more rye than this. It gets very rye. Rye. So that's it. We have built the drink. Now this is like a martini. What you want to do is you want to chill it down, but you don't want to dilute it too much.
Decord.
So we are going to put in
Yeah.
a few ice cubes. Oops.
Disaster.
There we go. I'm going to put those in, and we are just going to stir this for a while to get this. But when you're stirring this, you want to keep spinning the stir stick in your hand, so you're not breaking the ice cubes. You're just transferring that coolness, that coldness.
It's like a bain-marie for cold.
Yeah.
But why?
Well, why is it bain-marie? Because you want your drink to be cold. You want to serve this chilled. So about 25, 30 stirs would be about right. There we go. Put that down there. And we are going to take 2 Nick and Nora glasses.
Aren't they pretty?
They are so beautiful. I love this. It's my favorite cocktail glass. I love that. I think it's a beautiful looking glass. We're just going to pour
Look at the
that
color.
in there. It's a beautiful little color.
It's like autumn in Montreal.
It is. It's got a very
look.
a little bit there on that one, and we're just gonna garnish this.
Mm-hmm.
Make a nice big. Oh, there we go. Come on, you son of a gun. Oh, there we go.
That peeler.
It's that peeler. You don't like this peeler. You know what? Right now, I don't like this peeler.
Pox on that peeler.
We're just gonna take a couple of nice strips of. Take.
I'm just going to grab the fly cam for a sec.
We're just gonna
For
take
your
a nice.
final.
Oh, that one snapped. I don't like that.
Well, don't use that.
There we are. Just gonna take
We're
a little
just gonna-
twist of the lemon over there, and we're just going to balance that over there. Oops. I'm just gonna get this last little. There we go.
Quite lovely.
Thank you. I'm just gonna take that. Let that fall into there.
Gorgeous. Oh,
And there
hold
we
on. Let me
have-
just go back to our main
There
cam.
we have the Montreal Suze Aperol Gin and Rye.
There we go. A chin chin.
Chin chin.
Santé.
Yeah,
Come on,
this is.
Diabloe.
I chose the lemon. Normally, they also say too you could do garnish it with grapefruit. It's nice. It's a lighter than you would expect,
It is lighter than
but
I
I think that's what the gin does. The gin gives it a little bit of a lighter note.
But I could also see these being slightly dangerous.
Yeah, this could sneak up on you.
Hey, oh, def.
Yeah, but I also think that's one of the things I like about a bitter drink.
Is that you sip?
You sip that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice. It feels nice, but what I love is the warmth that comes in with the rye.
Mm-hmm.
There, you have. It's nice to drink. As I spilled my face. And you keep wanting to go back for more, but you want to let. There's so much going on
there's a ton
in
going
each
on.
sip. So it's like because the bitterness that you get from the Suze is slightly different from the bitterness you're going to get from the Aperol too.
Bitter party in my mouth.
Yeah, it's a better bitter party.
It's a better bitter party. It tastes like construction.
Yeah, so that's the Montreal cocktail. Again, I found this through Difford's Guide, DIFFORDS guide online, diffordsguide.com. There's a ton of different drinks on there. It's an excellent cocktail site if you were looking for stuff. Take a look at it. Thank you, Kevin Demers. Kevin Demers.
Probably. I'm
Kevin
making
Demers,
assumptions.
thank you
but
very much. We will
Chin, we drink to you.
when cold room is open, we'll come down and say hi. Hey,
Quel bonus. Hold
speaking of which, we can now put our meat in the fridge or in the oven. The reverse fridge.
The reverse fridge. Careful, please. Thank you.
So we're now just putting the donair meat into the oven. It's going to be there for how long?
About an hour 10.
About an hour and 10. So we're going to eat this right at the end.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the booze out of the way. So I'm going to put this here. That one's yours.
Thank you.
I'm going to put this one over here. That one's mine.
Thank you.
That is one hometown cocktail dealt with. We are going to make two tonight because the next one we're going to make is the Vancouver.
Indeed.
Are
you from Vancouver?
I am from Vancouver. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that.
And you never have.
I
You
never have.
never talk about
Let
it.
me get that out of the way. Well, you are a son of a gun.
I am.
Boom. And I will clean this up so
350. The oven has been preheated to 350 degrees.
Yes.
Key piece of information.
That's
Thank
the
you.
amount of learning I have as well.
What, 300?
I have 350 degrees.
Of learning?
Yeah, well, no, I just have 350 degrees.
Oh, academic degrees. Oh.
I thought that's what I meant. I thought it was a good joke. What are we doing now? Oh,
That's
yeah. Yeah.
We should
We should go to
probably
him.
check in.
We should check in. Since we lost him, we want to make sure he's
we
there.
found him again.
We found him again.
Maybe he's found himself in the meantime.
I don't want to come back. I don't want to go to him if he's found him. He's in the middle of finding himself.
Finding himself?
Hey.
Could be sketch.
De
rien.
It is time
For the one and only.
for the one and only. I don't, Stir Crazies, I don't know what to say about what's about to happen. I love this man so much. He is a great friend.
Mm-hmm.
He is a mentor. He is a spiritual leader in certain ways for me.
Does he know that?
No.
Hmm.
But I will say that when we invited him onto the show, because he's also a culinary genius, except for one time, I have felt like he has mocked that friendship.
That's a pretty serious accusation.
It is a pretty serious accent. But I think tonight will be different.
Okay, I'm glad that you're
Because
optimistic.
you don't think I should be?
No,
You have no problem with this.
No, I don't. But you know.
I think better things. So without further ado, I knew that would make you laugh.
But you said further dudes.
I know.
I always just say further dudes.
I know. Further ado.
Further dudes is kind of.
I said it with an Italian accent. Further ado. I don't know.
I don't know either.
So, it's time for the one, the only, Chef Duyan!
We have our Chef Duyan.
We have our
Listening
Chef
pieces,
Duyan.
please.
Gotta put our here, you get that one.
I got our Chef Duyan.
Oh, there we go. We gotta, I'm falling out.
Oh no. There he is. Hey, Chef Duyan.
Oh.
Hello. Can you
Yeah,
hear
I'm just
me?
gonna change you though.
Yeah, we can hear you.
There you
Okay.
are.
Well.
Now nobody else can hear you echoing. How are you, Chef Duyan? No.
Just letting you know, right now I don't have any sound.
don't
Oh,
have
you know
any
any sound. Let me fix that. He doesn't have any
right.
sound. I will fix.
I like when his sound cuts out.
He just
cuts
walks
out.
away.
He walks
This is
away.
funny. He's there. Yeah, there we go. Hang on. There you are.
Hold on.
There we are. I can hear you. There you
Oh,
are.
there
Sorry,
we go.
it switched when I went to the things. How are you, Chef Duyan?
I'm good. How about you guys?
Excellent.
How was Canada?
It was a day.
It was very Canadian.
We didn't have to move.
No, we didn't have to move.
So
'cause
for
we're
those
much-
for
yeah.
people who don't know, in Montreal, July 1st is moving day because that's a thing. So we didn't have to move. So I'm grateful for that.
And you?
Uneventful.
You're what?
Uneventful.
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 I think
good.
that's the best thing you could say about Canada Day.
It's uneventful.
It's uneventful.
I agree.
So what are you making for us tonight, Chef Duyan? And please let it be amazing.
It's gonna be amazing. I'm also I got inspired by Elle in the last few weeks. Elle spoke a lot about rapproche, getting people together, and felt like Canada Day should probably not be celebrated, but should be used to bring people and bring things together.
Okay.
And I decided to do something like that this week. So this week, I'm bringing together two ingredients that has been separated since the 90s. So it's going to be Jello.
Of course. Why would it not be?
And Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid powder.
Jello and Kool-Aid.
And with those,
Isn't it just the same
Is
thing?
it? Yeah, I was gonna say, what really is the difference between Jello and minus the gelatin?
I guess Kool-Aid powder is Jello without the gelatin.
Kool-Aid doesn't
Gelatin,
have
exactly.
gelatin. Kool-Aid is a drink.
Yes.
Jello is a
Yes,
dessert.
okay.
Not the way I do it.
No? Anyway, so today we're gonna do Kool-Aid Jello Red Popsicle, Canada Day.
Sorry, one more time.
So we're gonna need powdered Kool-Aid,
Kool-Aid.
Jello, popsicle mold,
Okay.
and then first step is gonna be to take the
Yes, of
Jello.
course.
So we're not gonna put the whole pouch in there, because we only have one serving of Kool-Aid. So we're gonna do half a pouch. Half a pouch Jello. We're gonna mix it up. Make sure the Jello and the Kool-Aid are now mixed up
So this
together.
is a diabetes-friendly recipe, yes, Chef Duyan?
So let me ask one question, actually, based on that.
It is
But
sugar.
but
It is a sugar.
When I was a kid, you had to add
Oh.
sugar to Kool-Aid to make it sweet. Kool-Aid was just sour on its own. Is it still not that way?
No.
No.
The
No,
world
this
has
one is not sugar-free Kool-Aid. It was regular Kool-Aid, red Kool-Aid, so like fruit
All right.
punch, I think.
Fair.
Anyway, so once it's done, I'm gonna take some hot water.
Okay.
Add the hot water to the Kool-Aid and Jello mixture.
I didn't realize you're going to use so many skills tonight.
Yes. And then we're going to mix it up till the powder is all dissolved.
Is this going to make a wiggly popsicle?
It is not going to make a wiggly popsicle.
Too bad.
It's going to make a regular popsicle.
It's a regular popsicle. Well then, okay, never mind.
A regular Jello Kool-Aid.
Oh, sorry. I've never had a Jello Kool-Aid.
Call it the
The
reconciliation.
reconciliation. Wow.
I think we should offer those kind of popsicles to other people we're wrong, and make things better.
I have many
there we
responses
go.
for that, but I don't think any of them are appropriate. Listen, Chef Julienne.
Chef Diane,
One popsicle
put
at a time, yeah?
You put the B in the word subtle.
So now,
Hey, so once it's done, I take the liquid and put it in the popsicle mold. One.
Ruby Rose is saying she should add a
and
little bit of vodka.
yeah. I agree.
And two.
Or you could just
Put
drink
it
the
in.
vodka right out of the...
Put it in the popsicle
Yeah.
rack, and I'm gonna close it, and I'm gonna put it in the freezer for about 10 minutes to
12 hours, of course. So we will...
And gonna
So I think we should probably come back and check on you somewhere between 10 minutes
And 12 hours from now.
Exactly.
Chef Diane, you do nothing but let us down. We love the way you do
Stop
it.
saying us. Love you, Chef Duyan.
We love you. You weirdo.
It's the popsicle of reconciliation. I'm those two are gonna be for you. I will offer it to you for every time I let you go.
Well, fantastic.
well, thank you,
We
Chef
love you, Chef
Diane.
Diane. We'll see you in a bit.
Now I have to go make you popsicles.
In a
Bye.
bit.
Oi.
See, Tim Ashworth is saying, we're having a hot show, which I agree.
Thank you.
Very much. But he had to add sugar whenever you made Kool-Aid. And I agree with that.
I don't remember ever having to do
Kool-Aid
that.
didn't come sweetened. It came in tiny little packages about this big. And you put the package of Kool-Aid, 2 liters of water, and a cup of sugar.
Okay, but
Which is still an insane amount of sugar.
see, and when I went to summer camp, because that was the kind of stuff that you brought in a tub. It
Yeah.
was like a
Yeah, we
metal
never used those tubs.
or whatever. And then we we were awful. We used to just eat it with our fingers because it was like Lick-a-Maid or
Yeah.
kind of like
Well, when I was
Pixie, what are they, Pixie Sticks?
Yeah, when
it
I was
kind of like the same thing.
I remember being in elementary school, and that was a big trend too. You'd go and you'd sneak off campus, you'd go and buy a Jello powder, and you'd do that. And I was like, I never had the guts to go do that. And finally one day, it's like, me and a friend, we're gonna go do that. We're gonna go off, we're gonna get some. And I got there, and I couldn't afford to buy the full pack of Jello, so I just bought a pack of Kool-Aid. And because it didn't have sugar in it, we went like,
Like the sour Lick-a-Maid.
it's the sour Lick-a-Maid.
See, I don't know. I don't know when Kool-Aid changed because when I was a little kid, it was one of
Yeah.
those things that like
Yeah,
I'm
thanks, Tim.
surprised we were allowed to have.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you for backing me up. I agree that
Oh,
that's
I didn't think it was crazy. I'm just wondering at what stage in Kool-Aid's history it
did it
decided
all
to just
change.
add its own sugar.
Yeah.
You know.
Are you gonna go? You're gonna start doing the second part? We're here. We're here.
Yeah, I could do that
We should
super
do
quick.
that.
I should do that super quickly, so we can put it in the fridge for a bit.
One of the things that we're doing the Halifax Donair. If you're not familiar with the Halifax Donair, of course, a Donair is like a gyro or any of the where you slice
Or
the meat
a
off
doner
the
kebab.
stick. Doner kebab.
Doner kebab.
Slice the meat, put it in pita. But what makes it specifically Halifax style is the sauce. The sauce that goes on a Halifax style donair is wholly unique to Halifax or to the Maritimes. It is a sweet sauce based in condensed milk.
Evaporated milk.
Oh, sorry, evaporated milk. Or is that? I thought that was condensed.
That's evaporated.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So again, because I am new to the Halifax Donair and now have to make a pilgrimage to Halifax eventually to try one with my own face mouth.
Your own mouth.
Not made by me.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw the ingredients for this sauce, I said no, ça ne peut pas. Like these things don't go in a sauce, especially because.
But here's the ingredients.
Bring up the ingredients.
Here's the ingredients.
And I'll
first of
tell you
all.
why, and chacun a son goût. Everybody's got their own taste buds, groovy. But like when I go to Kojak's or if I go for souvlaki, I want garlic sauce. I want something that's
But this has that.
But savory, not sweet. But Kojak's, I think, especially if you're from Montreal, you know, they have their Kojak sauce and then their tzatziki.
Yeah.
The Kojak sauce kind of reminds me a little bit of this, and I was never into that. I will say this. When we made this the other day, as I'm doing it, I was like, I don't know about this at all. C'est bon. C'est très, très bon. What I am going to do, though, because diabetes, is I might cut, much to my husband's dismay, a little bit of the sugar that they recommend that you put in here. Just a little bit, because
it still has to be a sweet sauce, or it's not the right
that's fine.
sauce.
Can I have a fork, please?
You want a fork?
And that is fine. It will still be a sweet sauce. I don't want anyone screaming sacrilege, but it doesn't. That's a lot of sugar. Like, that's a lot of sugar. So we're going to put in a can
of evaporated milk.
Evaporated milk. It's like it's a vulgar-looking sauce.
I think the exact concoctions vary a little bit. I think the one I was looking at with the King of Donair sauce did all of its measurements based on the can itself.
If you'd like.
No. I'm not saying. It's funny. No, I'm not saying you have to do that.
But I can.
Okay, well, you do you.
I can do it in the can.
You do you. I'm not asking that. I was just using it for more of an interesting fun fact.
I have 2/3 of a cup of sugar here, but that's what I find interesting. According to you,
I think. See, when I was and again, I come down to those evaporated milk cans were very, very small, half the size of that.
No, that's condensed milk, is in a smaller can.
No, evaporate. My dad used to drink it. I know. My dad that was his coffee, and he would drink that little tiny cans of evaporated milk.
All right, we're gonna dissolve this
Let me get the fly
small
in there. We're
diabetic
fly it in.
into this evaporated milk. Like, there's a lot of sugar in here, guys.
Let me just see if I go over top of you a little bit.
Go over top of me, baby. Ooh, ah.
Look at that. This is neat over the shoulder here. Look at that little shot. That's a shot. Our sink looks a little dirty.
Yeah, maybe don't do that.
Sorry.
Also, I have no cleavage tonight, so it's a waste. It's a waste.
It's all right.
Shot.
I've got some butt cleavage we can show off later.
Okay, great. That's what everybody's waiting for. I'm sure that's why they tuned in for your butt cleavage.
If you're looking for that link too, by the way, it just popped up in the chat. If you were looking for a place, if you wanted an apron.
Oh yes.
The links to go and hit our Amazon wish list or our PayPal tip. You are right now in the chat if you want to go and do that.
That was not one complete
Well,
sentence.
you interrupted me while I was in the middle of doing it. I said they're in the chat stream right now if you want to go do that.
I am putting in, pardon me, messily, a little bit over half a teaspoon of garlic powder because I need this to be a little bit more El Diablo friendly, which means more garlic. And we're going to slowly, hold on, let me get that incorporated there.
This is where the sauce gets thickened now.
Well, what we're going to do here is very slowly, we're going to stir in about a 1/4 cup of just plain old white vinegar.
The more you stir this, the thicker it will get, and you don't want it to get super thick. You don't want it to be clumpy and chunky.
So you want to give it like a little pour and some stirs, and like a little pour and some stirs. Petit pour, petit stirs.
And you see it already thickening right now. It's chemistry.
It is, but if you ask me how this works, I would get very mad.
I would.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I already learned my lesson.
2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Look at that. Now it's so funny how that just goes from being completely liquid to almost like a peanut butter thickness by just a little bit of vinegar.
Peanut butter, invented in Canada.
Yes. Oh, look at that segue. Jump. All right.
There we go.
Bring you back up. I'm sorry, but I have to just make sure we're doing it right here. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. Oh, that's even better than the other one. That's excellent.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. You saw that all go down. I did not use any magic.
Yeah.
It was stirring and some chemistry.
If you were a vegetarian, by the way, and you're going, this looks, I don't want to do the donair. What I recommend is make garlic fingers. It's something it's a maritime thing. Go to any bar. It's on the menu. Garlic fingers are like essentially pizza crust covered in garlic. You get that aside with fingers are on each side. If you're a vegetarian, it's actually not that good for you. Put that in the fridge.
Yep.
For how long?
So we're ready to eat it.
So we're ready to eat it.
Technically like an hour, but like probably 45.
All right.
Let those flavors meld.
But anyway, so if you're a vegetarian, do the garlic fingers and dip them in the sweet sauce. It's an incredible flavor combination.
Cheers.
So good. Oh, cheers. What do you think of this?
I like this cocktail.
Yeah, it's nice.
I like it. It's nice.
It's actually making it on the show. It's the first time I've made this cocktail.
Well, then I'm glad you did that.
Yeah.
Look how much we're learning.
I know. It's
as we go.
excellent.
Knowledge is power, my friend.
Wow. For the past few weeks, this gentleman has been such a big integral part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
He's got an album that is dropping next Thursday, and he will be here live playing a brand new song
that
we haven't heard on the show.
Giddy up.
Yes. And when we told him we were doing the Littlest Hobo thing, he said, I have the sweetest song.
Okay.
It's wonderful. It's beautiful. He says, don't even listen to it. It's a gorgeous, sweet, beautiful song.
Okay.
In honor of our tiniest hobo.
Okay.
So Stir Crazies.
We bring you
The one.
the only
Ben Cardilli.
Oh, that one's cute.
I've got micro here. Fix this.
Thank you.
Somebody said that her mic is dying. I hope you're picking it up from that one. Puppers! Bring me puppies! I just love the concept of death metal version of a song about puppies. That makes me happy. Yes, we're checking Elle's microphone. We realized. I'm telling them. I'm not telling you. Sorry. That's what happens when you're on battery mics. Sometimes the battery dies. I thought the batteries that I put in them were going to be fine.
Forever.
I was wrong. I always remember to trust that I need new batteries every show. Oh well. With that in place, every week we like to ask questions of you guys. We want to get the chat room engaged, see what you guys think about stuff. It's our Canada Day episode. Anywhere in the news right now, there is a lot of stuff going on that say, I'm trying to stretch this out so that when you get that done, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the news.
You want me? Can they hear me? Can you
I don't
hear me
know.
now? I know. I'm asking. I'm asking them.
You look like you're good now. Do it again.
Can they hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. You look good. Let me see. Yeah, you're coming in fine.
It's more if I sound okay.
I have it set now so that I can actually see without having to move.
Oh, that's so nice.
But the news has been. It's hard to be. Yeah, it's hard to really feel good about who you are with the amount of crappy things going on in the world and the amount of people who have been taken advantage of solely for nothing but the
accident of their birth.
Exactly. Yeah, for who they are when
or
they're born.
because we're white settler colonialists.
Yes.
Or any of those things.
So
yeah.
So we're going to start off with a simple question, and again, I think it's a very, because this question can be a bit loaded, but I think it could also be very.
Choose which way you want to
go. They're both very valid. If you want to have fun with this is very fun.
Yeah, you can have a fun
time. So let's go over to
serious.
the question. First question of the night: what is the most un-Canadian thing or concept? Some people, and I think it's a very popular concept, that I think the Canadian identity is not based on anything specifically Canadian, it's based on not being American.
Yes.
The reason we put a Canadian flag on our stuff when we go to Europe is not to tell people that we're Canadians, to tell people that we are not American. Which is
would that make Americanism the most un-Canadian concept?
Well, to me personally, and this is where I said, earlier, I personally believe that the most un-Canadian concept is patriotism.
How so?
I think that Canadians are quietly patriot. It's when people act in that same overt patriotism that is I normally attribute to American patriotism. Not that there's anything wrong with how you do it, but to me that way of being patriotic, to me, I find it so un-Canadian personally. I find Canadian patriotism, the most patriotic thing I've ever seen, to me, a Canadian does is put a flag outside their house. And even that is like, wow, did you see Larry start putting up a flag?
Really?
Is everything going on okay with this relationship? That to me, and I know I may be unique in that, but I've always felt that it's that weird thing. That and the other thing I think is the most un-Canadian thing is to not be funny, to not have a sense of humor about everything. Canadians have a very good sense of humor.
I concur with that concurrence, but it's maybe because we are made up of so many different people who have a good sense of humor or who have been oppressed, and it's a really
sometimes you just have to laugh.
But I'm Jewish. I think that's the attitude a lot. Is
yeah.
sometimes you just have to laugh because if not, you're gonna cry into your cornflakes every day. So.
What do you think is the most un-Canadian?
Well, I think it's really funny because I also agree that and I don't want to get too heavy. I mean, I was joking with Danny before that I should just have an angry podcast where I can talk about all the things that I don't want to talk about during Stir Crazy. Because you guys are here, we can we'll
call that Elle Diabloe's regular crazy.
Yeah, exactly. We can have a laugh and still learn stuff, but I don't want it to get all, serious and political. But I don't disagree that as Canadians, we really define ourselves as not American. And even some of the values that we've espoused as Canadians, we're polite, we're deferential, we're this, we're that. Well, maybe that's true on a world stage, but I don't find, especially when you look at the Indigenous issues that we have in our country and issues with the police and racism and whatever, part of me is like, are we so nice and so deferential?
No.
Or is that just because we've decided that the Americans are loud and boisterous, entre gros guillemets, so we're not that. We're quiet and deferential because we don't want to be that, because we need to find our own identity. So sometimes I think Americanism or stereotypical Americanism, the bravado, the aggrandized belief that they're the best is in principle the most un-Canadian thing in my mind, because we don't do that, but we do that. We just
do
don't
it quietly,
say we do it, and
we do it by a quiet contempt for people who do.
Yep.
I think.
And that's just as judgy and weird. And it's like we're, we're not prepared to say we're number one. So we're just kind of like,
it's fine to be number 4.
It's rude. We don't want to presume anything, but
it's such a weird, it's a very odd place to be, because especially I think when you are so close to the States, there is nothing you can do as a Canadian that isn't somehow still in the shadow of what happens in the U.S. But
also I think it's very...
And in certain ways, it can be a very beneficial relationship, and it can be a very interesting place to be in close proximity to. In the case of what's currently happening down there, maybe a little bit harder.
But I think also, and this is, I guess, part of evolving as humans and growing and changing, and to a certain degree, again, I said the word ashamed earlier today, I'm going to use it again right now. I am ashamed that I don't know more about First Nations history. I am ashamed that I don't know more. There's a monument apparently like 4 kilometers from our house, not even. So I think this notion that, years ago I would have said racism and intolerance are un-Canadian, and I'm kind of like, but that's not really true.
It's not really true. Well, I think it's funny that we always kind of make fun of the U.S. for not knowing our history, and we're right beside them. And in the same token, if you ask some of these questions of Canadians,
we don't know our history.
We don't know our history. Let's see what you guys think. So
sorry, I forgot too heavy.
Having over here, I didn't think anybody said anything. Donna DeLuca, un-Canadian concept, not apologizing when somebody accidentally bumps into you. True. This is true. I think last time we did this, what is the most Canadian thing? Everybody agreed that it was politeness. That is the most Canadian thing.
Dude, I apologize when I bump into inanimate objects.
It's true.
Like if I bump into I'm like, oh, sorry. Like it's so ingrained.
Joseph said, "Yup."
Joseph said, yeah, probably because when I asked, can you hear me?
Yup.
I find it very interesting that nobody wants to answer this question.
It's funny. I don't know if they don't want to or they haven't got to that point in the show yet. They
it's
might
also,
not have,
it's
they
also
might be a little
possibly
further
true.
back from us. Who knows? It's all right. If you don't want it, you don't have to. We got lots of
We're not
stuff
forcing
to do.
you.
So let's.
But
There's not much
something to
here.
think about.
Yeah, think about it. Let's go back. Heading over here. What are we at? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's time.
Oh,
Let's talk about that.
we can talk about that. We're going to talk about this. So,
Your segues are incredible.
they are. I am. You know what?
You're
I need to get.
impeccable.
I need to get back on stage because I forget how to host.
You got you segue like somebody who calls it sagu.
Thank you. You were so supportive, my husband. I appreciate all your kind words. For those of you who have been tuning in, you know that we're running a little contest.
Our giveaway.
Our giveaway. For those of you joining us for the first time, if there's anyone, we are running a.
I'm gonna go get the stuff.
You're gonna get the stuff.
I'm gonna get the stuff.
We're doing a giveaway. We will be drawing the name or announcing the winner, or however you wanna. Drawing the name makes me feel like bingo. We'll be announcing the winner of the contest live next Thursday during our Tropic of COVID episode.
Yes.
We are giving away this wonderful bitters pack from Mr. Bitters, which
Yeah.
has inside. You will
don't
find.
do that because we're gonna do this next. And
Oh, we are. Never mind. This thing, and we're giving away this thing.
This tiki
And-
book. It's just a beautiful book.
It
It's
is a
an
beautiful book.
absolutely gorgeous.
And as I said last week, what I love about this is a lot of the tiki drinkware in here is, superheroes and like there's a Groot. There's a Groot tiki. Now, these are things I didn't know I needed and now I need. So,
Maria Boucher wants us to repeat the question we asked earlier.
She was
Just
pouring a
pouring
drink?
You know what? You don't have to apologize.
that would be so.
Just keep your drink. There'll be another question. Don't worry.
Should we try time travel?
No. We're gonna go to yeah.
Then go to it.
So if you want to know what's all involved, how about this?
What? Hey there, Stir Crazies. We just wanted to interrupt this video to announce our first giveaway.
That's right, we're going to be giving away this amazing Stir Crazy cocktail bundle valued at over $125.
It includes a Bitters gift pack from Mr. Bitters with 5 incredible flavors: fig and cinnamon, Negroni, pink grapefruit and agave, honeyed apricot and smoked hickory, and cacao and macadamia.
Also, we'll be sending you a copy of the book Tiki, Modern Tropical Cocktails by Shannon Mustafer, the beverage director of Gladys Caribbean in Brooklyn.
Finally, there's no better way to show you're stir crazy than with one of our swanky Stir Crazy aprons.
To be entered into the contest, all you need to do is like this video, leave us a comment, and make sure you're subscribed to our channel.
Also, like us on Facebook and give us a follow on Instagram.
All of the links are in the description down below.
The winner will be announced on our July 9th episode of the Stir Crazy Sankaset.
See you there, and good luck!
You do a thing. I'm putting.
We are back. So that is our contest. All you have to do, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, go to our Facebook page, like it, go to our Instagram, follow us, comment, all that junk. But main thing, go to those 3 things. Become a follower, and you are automatically eligible, and will be eligible for the contest. We're going to make the Vancouver now.
Do you know what I think is happening? I hear it in both of our voices.
Yeah.
I think that first cocktail was a wee
Little
bit,
hit it, little hit it.
a little bit strong.
We're going to finish that because we're going to go into another one.
I know. Yay!
We haven't even finished this.
Oh, I'm going to finish mine.
Are you going to finish yours? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Mommy, wow.
we're
I'm a
going to
big
go
one now.
and make a Vancouver
I'm gonna get
right
you some.
now. Now, the Vancouver cocktail, this version is originally adapted from a book called, I just want to read this properly, I got this, About Town Cocktail Book.
The About Town?
The About Town Cocktail Book. Originally, the whole idea was I believe the way it was 50% gin, 30% dry vermouth, 30% Benedictine, 20% dry vermouth. Then the Vancouver Club. Now, the Vancouver Club is sort of an exclusive wealthy person's club. They did their version called the Fitcher, which they used sweet vermouth instead of dry vermouth. And then this version, this Vancouver cocktail one came about because they're both very interesting, but this perfect little blend of splitting the vermouth between a dry and a sweet vermouth added a whole new level to it, topped with a dash of orange bitters.
It's very interesting because for a while when we fancied ourselves fancy when we were growing up.
Fancy.
When I was probably about 19, there was this trend of drinking either San Rafael or Cinzano red and white mixed.
Yeah.
It was the half and half, we used to call it. And it tasted a lot like, I think I say that now, maybe it didn't taste at all like this, but sangria. It was like sangria without the fruit.
I
see how that would make
when I was a lot younger, and I would say, a teenager, starting to smoke of the weed.
You smoked of the weed?
Smoked of the weed.
Oh my goodness.
Vermouth was my go-to fill for my bong.
Really?
Yeah, I fill my bong with vermouth.
I was never a big bong gal.
I was a huge bong guy. I can't help it. Oh, sorry. You see what I did there?
Oh la la.
So I think this is going to be one of the first cocktails that we have made on the show that doesn't use the standard ounce, 2 ounce, 3/4 ounce. This is actually using 2/3 of ounces because of this ratio of the drink is supposed to be 50% gin, 30% Benedictine, 20% vermouth.
For those of our stir crazies watching at home.
Benedictine.
Also, if you don't like being called a stir crazy, we can come up with a better name. Maybe we'll run a contest.
I can't. Don't make me come up with something else.
All right.
I've got one.
You do, but we can have something else. What is a Benedictine?
Benedictine's another liqueur. Often you'll find there's 2 versions of Benedictine. There's the DOM Benedictine, and then there's the B&B Benedictine. Benedictine B&B is actually Benedictine mixed with brandy.
Okay.
DOM is just the straight Benedictine liqueur. It's a little sweet. It's a little minty. It's an odd flavor. I love it. I think it's absolutely delicious. It's sweet, but it's not super sweet. It's not like having a Kahlua or like say a Curacao that's really sugary. It's a subtle sweetness where it's got almost a minty, maybe licoricey kind of flavor in it. It
almost reminded me, and not in a bad way, of like a kosher wine.
Yes.
Something kosher wine.
Well, it is French. It's from Normandy.
That has nothing to do with kosher wine.
Oh, kosher wine, I distributed different. See what I did? Kosher wine?
Like Manischewitz.
Like Manischewitz?
No, it doesn't taste like Manischewitz. It does not taste like Manischewitz.
No, it doesn't taste like. So we're going to start off, again, in this. This is also a stirred drink. So we're not shaking this. We're stirring this again.
I'm going to move out of your way for 1 second. Because
So we are going to put in 1 2/3 ounces of gin. So there's 1 ounce. There is 2 ounces. And then 2 1/3. So that one. Even though I know I'm making it for 2 and I could technically go, well, 4/3 is, but
that's math.
I like to do it this way to know that I'm building it properly.
See, and adding fractions for you. If my mother was watching, she'd be so upset because she's a math teacher, but adding fractions?
Yeah. So we're going to add to this 2/3 of an ounce of Benedictine. So there we are. Oh, a little bit more. There we are.
You know how I know?
There's one of those spouts that the little pores don't fit in, so it's a little. I always find it's so hard to control then. And now,
can't control your alcohol.
I can't control it. We are going to add to this. Where do we go? Yes, 1/2 ounce. Oh, I did the wrong thing. I did a third, not 2/3. I'm going to quickly do that. You did distract me,
My
so I'm just
sexy
going to
apron,
quickly.
I'll
I just
move back
realized
out.
that was okay. There we go. There we go. Boom, boom.
That food is
I did my math wrong there.
That food is starting to smell real good.
I know, it is. And then we're going to add 1/2 ounce of the dry vermouth. And 1/2 ounce of the sweet vermouth. Again, like I say, both of these drinks I like because they're very boozy. this will be very different. Like the Montreal was this complex exploration of bitter, where this I think is going to be sort of more of this sort of play back and forth between sweet and dry, adding this sort of floral note that you'll get in the gin. So we're going to give this about 20, 25 stirs. We just want to chill this down. We want to be careful. We don't want to break this ice. We just want to keep it moving so it chills the whole thing. You give me you got your battery pack going there.
I know.
Yeah,
I've always said actually that my batteries were in my butt. That's where I keep my motor.
So we just want to keep that stirring. Get that nice and cold.
Next time I do that, I should really have high heels on so people can see my butt.
I'd have high heels on with you, my love. And now we're going to take 2 coops.
Do a coupe.
Pour those into 2 coops. One. Oh, I love that. That's a beautiful color.
Again, it's kind of like fall in Canada.
It is.
In Canada.
Ooh.
That's fine. I probably don't need that much more.
And now we're going to, like the other, we're just going to take a knife. Actually, I'm going to take the knife on this one. We're going to take a nice big swath of orange.
Yeah.
Take a nice chunk of orange peel. You want to try and not get any of the pith in there. I'm not doing a coin, I'm doing a nice little chunk. I'm just going to trim off the edges so it's nice and clean. Boop, boop.
It's lovely. I'm actually going to just throw the recipe up for that.
Yeah, I'll do that. That's great. Thank you. That's fantastic.
I'm just going to go recipe.
Yeah. And we're just going to go give that a sweet over top, and it's going to go over there. We'll let that just slip into the drink. And we're going to do the same thing with this. Boom, boom. That. And we're going to give this a nice little spray some oils over it.
Why, thank you, Mary.
That. And we're finally going to let that slip into there. That, Stir Crazies, is our Vancouver cocktail. One more time, it's gin, Benedictine, and 2 kinds of vermouth.
Vermouth. Ooh.
Oh, that's nice. I like that a lot. Like I really like the Montreal. I thought it was. I'm really getting into bitter cocktails right now, but this is a beautiful
but there's
little.
A syrupy element to this, and I'm not sure if it's the Benedictine or the sweet vermouth. It's light.
Oh, it's definitely the Benedictine.
But it's got
Benedictine's quite thick.
It's got a gullet feel to it, if that makes any sense.
I love. What I like about this is that it's not just. You're not just exploring flavors in there. I think there's also some textures and it's hard when you're do a drink that's saying there's texture in the drink, but having something that's so viscous or so thick.
But you can see it, like again, maybe it's the reflection of the light in my glass, but you can see that there's a certain viscosity to it. That anyway,
but
it's very tasty.
I love it. It's a delicious tasting cocktail. You want to fly cam that in?
We can fly cam that in.
Yeah, we get that fly cam. You hit the button. I tell you when.
I will hit the button. All right, ready?
Wait. Let
2.
it go.
Go.
So there is.
I'll take your notes out of the
shot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the ice. So there we have the Vancouver. It's really a nice cocktail. I really like this. It's it's not super sweet either, which I think is nice. Mm-hmm. If you're not a sweet tooth,
I am not a sweet tooth.
Go back to 1.
Oh, I will go back to 1. Sorry, I was trying to figure out timing for a second.
And if you're not a sweet tooth, this is another really nice cocktail for you.
Is a person a sweet tooth, or do they have a sweet tooth?
Ooh, that's a good question. I've made those interchangeable.
That's okay. I was just asking. I'm inquiring minds. We want to know, eh?
They do want to know.
Inquiring minds want to know, eh?
Where are we at?
What time?
We did a little talk about that already.
We did do that.
Let's go to here. Let's do that.
Let's do that. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is so cool.
This is so cool. All right, I'm going to talk for a second.
You talk.
Ben Cardilli has been with us for 9 weeks now, but Ben is launching his album next week, and we have arrived.
He's run out of videos, by the way.
But hold on, that's what I said. I'm going to speak now. So we've gotten to the end. Ben has done an incredible job generating content over the course of this whole
amazing amount
quarantine scenario. All of the videos are up or linked to on our YouTube channel, so you can go if you've missed any of them. But we've arrived sort of at the end of the Ben footage.
Yeah.
So first of all, if you happen to know us and love us and you make music and videos, get in touch. But
we have some new contributors coming.
We have some new contributors coming up, and tonight we're extremely excited. Come on in the shop.
Yeah, I am.
Talk about this with me.
Okay, I'm sorry. You said you were going to talk.
Well, I did. I just explained the Ben Cardilli thing.
Yeah, so we have some amazing new contributors who are going to be involved. I've been talking to some incredible people like Shai Shuli. I've been talking
Big
to Big Daddy,
Queen Power,
Kingpin. So amazing, great people. They're all very excited. But we wanted to have some. One of the things we have to say is our gorgeous, beautiful Galadriel Caress, our sexy woman who eats food for a minute,
was on vacation.
Was on vacation, so she needed a week off. So we said, "Hey, that's no problem. We'll
a week off from being sexy." Like
she's never
taken a moment. She's never taken a moment off from being sexy.
She's just by default sexy.
But she just didn't want to eat this week.
So I'm I saw that. It was a very special episode.
Sexily on camera. I don't know. I'm gonna just eat my foot for the next 10 seconds.
So we reached out to some friends of ours, and a few years ago, we actually got to be in a music video.
We did.
With an astonishing band called History of Gunpowder.
Who used to be based
in Montreal. And now Alex
is...
Morrison, the front man of that, who you'll see is in Vancouver. He is, I believe, watching. He was watching.
Alex, if you're still there, let us know.
Let us know,
because we're so excited about this.
We're so excited. And I asked if we could play the video that we were all in.
Also shot by our friend
Daniel.
If you're watching, Daniel.
Yeah.
And Misty, here's the big surprise.
You're on the show.
But you knew that.
It'd be weird if you didn't know you were in this. But also a whole bunch of other friends.
A whole bunch of...
Aria Della Noche.
Nika Story.
Jessica Ray.
So yeah, there's a lot of
really
Montreal
cool
peeps in this video, and we thought, you know what, for our Canada Day, let's celebrate some of our Canadian friends
with the history
of
gunpowder. History of Gunpowder.
Damn.
Alex Morrison, you're amazing.
And Stefan Krim's in that video.
Stefan Krims, and I made out with Misty Portugal in that video.
I know, Misty, I was about to send you a message of you were getting with my man that day, but I think I knew that. I love her.
It's all right. You were getting with other people.
I was getting with tons of people. Everyone got with
Everyone got with.
It was
I got
great.
what you got.
You got what I got?
I got what you got.
Yay.
Yeah. So History of Gunpowder, they're amazing. That is
amazing. Sorry, you keep talking. I screwed up my foil.
Oh, it's okay. Check them out. Both their albums are on iTunes. Absolutely incredible. It was such a fun day. We shot that in an alley behind Saint Laurent.
And then didn't we end up at a park on a lot of booze and?
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, but algorithm. We ended up on a lot of algorithm.
We ended up on many algorithms.
So much algorithm.
They were fun guys.
Oh, they're good ideas. You are subtle like the bee in the word subtle.
No, that's Duyan's job.
I changed my mind.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun.
It was a lot of fun, and I mean, I miss that. I miss being able to just go as where we want to go.
I know. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get back there. That actually leads a very.
We'll only get there if people stop being assholes and start, taking care of each other.
Well, that actually leads us into our second question.
Oh, does it?
It does very clearly lead us into our second question. Though we want to say one more time, thank you very much, History of Gunpowder.
Thank you.
Coming through.
Thank you. There's so many people whose names are escaping me right now, but what a fun day.
Yeah.
What a fun experience. Daniel, what a good job filming that video.
Daniel shot that. That was shot on film. I love that. It was shot on film. It was super cool.
And didn't we get together at like 10 in the morning? Like all of these crazy done-up people in an alley at 10 o'clock in the morning drinking booze out of
I was watching the YouTube channel for them earlier today, and there's another song which the name of it slipped my mind, which is all of them in the apartment.
Yeah.
Just doing the song, and it's beautiful. It's a live song. It's
we're gonna link to them on our YouTube also. See, you get nothing but benefit and bonus if you go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You get us.
There's so much,
but so much other groovy stuff.
So many other things. It's cool.
Let's ask a question.
Let's ask the second question. I find this of the two, and that first one seemed like it could have been loaded.
This one is
very loaded.
But I'm getting loaded, so let's.
So fair enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, Stir Crazies. How do you think Canada has dealt with the COVID crisis?
Are you asking me?
I am asking you because we've had this conversation many times during the COVID crisis, which we're all locked in, so we can't do anything but talk about the god darn thing we're in. Is God or damn the word?
Gosh darn.
Gosh darn. Which was the bad word in that one?
It depends on what.
These are very powerful.
It depends what pie in the sky you pray to. We're getting silly up in here. I think economically, on one hand, it's nice to live in a country where people who need the CERB have gotten their CERB with some hiccups along the way. Mm-hmm. We have a friend who apparently found out she was declared dead by StatsCan in trying to apply for her CERB. So there have been hiccups.
If you're dead, it's very hard to get the CERB.
And yet the irony, ironically that you say that, is apparently a ton of stimulus checks went out into the U.S. to dead people. So I think our country...
Well, no, but in Canada it's hard to get them. In the U.S. it's always easy to get...
Well, as long as you're a white... As long as you're a white dead person in the States,
you can vote, you can get money.
But so overall, I think to a certain degree, like I have many thoughts. My thoughts are like an onion. I think it's groovy. I think it's nice. I think it makes a very good argument for universal basic income, which we can talk about at some other time. But I also think, given that we're artists, and right now there's a lot of venues that have been given the green light to open, but I'm not going to talk about burlesque for a second. I'm going to talk about theater. Yeah. A theater is given a green light to open. There's nothing in the can to produce right now or to put on because all shows have been halted, all rehearsals have been halted. Yeah. So I think to a certain degree, and this is possibly more provincial than it is federal, but when they say you're good, go and open, but there's no logical plan or actual considerate thought given to the fact that theater, dance, comedy, burlesque, these are all live. These are live arts. And just because the venue is allowed to open doesn't mean that people are going to come and that people.
And I think that's yeah, I agree. I see. To me, one of the things I think is odd is I think that this has become a provincial issue.
Yes.
And I think there's two
But
parts.
so many things in our country are.
There's two parts of this.
On this Canada
That's fair.
Day.
There's two parts of this. To me, is like one of the things. It's very easy to say, compared to again
The
what's
US.
happening down in the States. Canada has done a better response. I will agree with that to a point. I think living in Quebec, there's some things that I just can't understand. And I watch how other provinces are choosing to handle this, and I go, why are we not there? Especially when Quebec has the numbers
That we do.
that we do. And I think when you say, well, every province has their right to say how it should manage it. It's confusing to me because a disease is going to affect everybody the exact same way. So if there's multiple ways of handling it, that could be a way of saying, oh, look, we'll find out, we'll do these 5 different things or 10 different things that are based on the provinces, and whichever one is most effective, everybody will adopt. That might be the solution.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it doesn't feel like it. It feels like sometimes the federal is just going, we don't know, so you guys figure it out.
Well, I think that has a lot to do. I mean, we wanted to have a whole political discussion about what is the responsibility.
We don't have time to have
we don't, but
because we got to go there
what's
too.
the federal responsibility versus the provincial responsibility as is established in our Constitution, et cetera, et cetera. But I agree with you. And when I talk to our friends, especially in the burlesque community, I have a lot of friends in the burlesque community in Toronto, as do you.
Yes.
And my best friend, other than you, lives in Toronto. And when I hear how they're handling things versus how we're handling things, or when my friends in Toronto,
BC, I'm sorry, but you're talking
BC that
BC.
has like what 100 cases or whatever, or
BC's
100 deaths versus our 3,000.
Handled it fairly
Montreal.
well, but again, I keep coming back that if that's the case in BC's cases.
In the cases?
Yeah.
Too many babies, baby. That's an Austin Powers
I know it
reference.
is. And like I say, BC's a great example. BC, I think, has handled it very, very well. And why the other provinces are going, oh, but we're going to do it our way. And you go, well, you have an example of something that actually has been handled well. I think there's other things going on there. Let's see what the other people say.
We can talk about this all night.
Oh, look, this one is actually quite good. My mom says, it depends on where you live. BC has handled it well. BC's done great.
Alicia also just came back from BC,
as well as can be expected in a totally new sitch. Yeah, this is fair. It is. Nobody knows what we're doing with this, so I just hurt my foot.
I think that's also fair because I think so many people are allowing this to fuel their conspiracy theories of, well, they told us this and now they're telling us this. But when you're in an unprecedented scenario, health-wise or otherwise, like, shit's gonna but stuff is gonna shift. Like things are.
You can't say shift.
The shift's gonna shift, guys. But yeah.
What else, Misty? It depends on where you live. Everybody does say it depends on where you live. It's hard when you're in Quebec.
Keep them borders closed and Black Lives Matter. Amen. Yes.
Borders, I gotta.
And Black Lives do. You're on borders. I'm Black Lives Matter. So
but in all of that, it's like. What else? Ja Wolf. TO is refusing to test COVID cases, though, whereas Montreal is accepting tests for the smallest reasons. I had a friend who had it, and because it wasn't severe enough, they refused to do it. I hear it's the same. And I think that's the one thing. I think there is this panic to lower numbers. And I think one of the responses, and it's
to stop testing.
Is to stop testing, and I think it's a ludicrous.
But again, when we go back, and we keep doubling back on this and call it these very boozy cocktails, but in our attempt to not be American, we often negate the fact that we're actually doing exactly what the states are doing.
Of course,
when Trump comes out and says, well, we wouldn't have as many cases if we weren't testing, and then all of a sudden across the country we find out that we're not testing so much anymore. I don't know.
I think one thing that's going to come out of all of this is that we're going to learn that we need to take care of our older citizens
and to take care of each other.
Better. But
we're coming back here. But
we're going to come back here.
But also,
what is it? Listen to the science and use common sense. Wear a mask.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, wear a mask.
But honestly,
I think one name that's all I'm going to wear.
Is just a mask or just a whole outfit of masks?
No. Just a mask.
But I want to know if you could hold up your, like, you know how you wear the sock garters? I want to know if you can have like sock garters
It's
that
a
are
mask
masks.
to cover
Yeah.
my knees.
Oh my
Right?
God, knee masks.
Knee masks.
I love it.
I
But
believe they're called nisks.
I'm going to chop some tomato while we talk to you. But I think we're in a very unique opportunity right now. And again, I've been thinking a lot, and I don't want to get too serious with you guys or too heavy, but some cool stuff can come out of this. I think just the fact that as many people have been protesting because we're not working 80-hour weeks or whatever is a good thing. The fact that for the first time in a long time, saying we need to work on this is not enough anymore. That people are demanding action plans and whatever, and I think that's all great. But what? Knees, yes. But yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm chopping tomato.
Tomato and the typical garnish for a Halifax style donair. There's a lot of that when you go and get gyros or whatever. There's a variety of different things that go. Halifax style donair. Generally, you have meat, tomato, onion. And I don't like the onion in it.
You don't like the onion, so I'm going to chop the onion for myself. What I really think this needs, and again, I keep referencing Kojak's.
And this is where you've got to stop.
And if you're a Montrealer, you've eaten a Kojak souvlaki, and if you haven't, what you waiting for? Not the best souvlaki, but the biggest
You want
souvlaki
beef
chain.
stem something?
I would, give me 1 second. I'm talking to the people. I think that this could benefit from, and this is sacrilege, some shredded lettuce. Just to like fill out the pita a little bit and like whatever. But again, sacrilege. But if you wanna, because you're at home, do whatever you want, you know? So we're gonna chop up some tomato. What Dan is doing right now is he is putting some pitas in to some foil, and we're gonna throw those in the oven just to warm them up and get them all swapped. This is not a good knife. I don't know why. I know why I'm using this. I've had 2 full booze cocktails and not enough food.
You're using the small knife?
No, yeah, I was using the small knife. I was. But look how much easier this is.
Oh, yeah. All right. This has got 3 minutes to come out.
We're not going to put those pitas in yet because
No,
the meat is going to want to rest for about 10 to 15 minutes.
What we could do, though,
What can we do?
go talk to Chef Deanne.
Oh, let's go. Hold on. Let me just, in case they were wondering how to cut tomatoes.
How to cut tomatoes? I mean,
this is
let me
not-
fly cam that in.
No, but I was going to say this isn't how to do it.
Yeah, those cocktails are a little stronger
They
than I
are
was expecting.
be strong. Sorry, peeps. We didn't warn you that this was going to be a tipsy episode. We got tomato.
I'm going to just sort of zoom. There we go.
You
That's
zoom,
better.
but also because I'm the only person eating onion, I'm just going to take a tiny bit of onion. And
You're in the PP.
I'm in the what now?
You're in the PP.
I'm in
The picture-in-picture.
I know I'm in the picture, but what did that have to do with?
Well, I just had the camera in the wrong place, so your onion was in, so that they couldn't actually see it because they were
okay.
behind the.
Watch 2 tipsy people try to navigate
this is a
a
little
live show. Hi. Speaking of which, maybe
Here we
we
are.
should talk about the live show we did last week.
Oh,
But then we
let's
should go talk to Duyan
We're going
first.
to talk about the live show we did. I'm going to.
We're going to talk to. Good, but let's.
We
go
did
talk-
a live show last Friday. We did our first After Dark show. And it is quite popular online, though. I think it's quite popular online because I had an abject meltdown in that show. Because if you saw it at all, what happened was the show was a burlesque show where we were playing pre-taped segments that people had sent us from all over the world.
in an attempt to capture the audience energy and all that good stuff.
And very simple. It's what we've been doing on Sankaset for
Some
13,
time now,
14
14
episodes. And that night, every time I went to go play one of these taped segments, it would just stutter.
Which meant you got stripping in freeze mode
Yeah.
and then super fast stripping
Yeah.
and then frozen. So that's not
And
fun.
I was trying to fix it, and what we ended up figuring out that actually it was my external hard drive, which we used to run everything off of, was dying. And I literally 2 hours before I had been working with it. It was fine. So the fact that this was happening, I couldn't without.
We also didn't know what was happening.
Without testing it, it would be no way to really know what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
We sorted it out. So
I mean, you can go back and watch our first attempt on YouTube if you want.
it's
not our
hilarious.
finest moment, but maybe it's worth it just because it's
if
really
you want
not
to see us be imperfect, this is
And-
great.
like
and spectacular.
A lot of imperfection.
Oh,
Like, a lot.
spectacular.
He kept having a bit of a flap, and the flappier he got, the more I drank.
You were drunk. I was angry.
You were angry. I was drunk. We forgot all
It
of
was
our
like an
host-
episode of Cops.
No, we've taken that off the air. We're not allowed to do that. But we're trying to figure out what the best way. I think now that we've sorted out the technical issues, we might just
We might want to do this show again.
redo it.
We have all these amazing videos that people we felt didn't get to see at their potential. So we're toying with in the next maybe week or two.
Maybe next Friday. How do you
If
feel
you
about
guys
next
be
Friday?
into it, let us know. If you're into it for next Friday, we will redo the show from scratch.
Yeah, it'll be the same artists that
Same
you
artists,
saw
same
already,
videos, but you'll see them actually move this time.
Yeah, they'll move. They won't
That's
just go like
amazing. We have the technology to make
the move. And we're going to host it live.
Yeah.
But that also means that you'll get 2 of them this month because we have an interesting thing planned for the end of the month. But if you're happy with next Friday night, let's do it next Friday night. Let me just check. You
do
talk
that?
to them. I'm going to check the temperature.
I think it's time to go talk to Chef Diane. Chef Diane!
I need to temperature check my
You
meat.
temperature check your meat? We got to go there anyways, even if it's not. But
It's time now.
yeah. So we're going to check in to Chef Diane because he was doing this amazing recipe where he took these 2 complex level ingredients. One was Jell-O. The other was Kool-Aid.
So you know what's
Now hang on, and I don't want to diminish his technique, but he was freezing them.
But also, I like this recipe because this recipe is a easy peasy lemon squeezy and not expensive. You can buy all of the ingredients for this recipe for a $5.
I still don't think that's a reason to buy them.
I disagree.
Chef Diane, are you there? Let's find out. Hang on, I gotta put the headphones in.
You put your headphone in. I'm just gonna do this.
I'm gonna put the headphone in. Oh, hang on 1 second. We're just going over to you now. There you are. How are you, Chef Diane? Can you hear? Oh, it does that every time. Hang on, we've got to fix this. Don't worry. Don't worry, Chef Diane. Don't go anywhere. You son of a gun. I will fix this right now. Boom. Hi, Chef Diane. How are you?
Hello.
How are you?
How are you doing?
Excellent. We are so excited to see how your popsicles turned out that we decided to get drunk in advance.
It's also because I think I had to get drunk when I heard him call them reconciliation popsicles. I got a little bit upset about it. And
the reconciliation popsicle. I mean,
so how?
It's good.
That looks delicious. How does it taste?
Tastes amazing.
Wow.
Very happy
I
with
think
it.
you should put vodka in the recipe and then hand them out to your neighborhood kids.
Yeah, for Halloween. Just put a popsicle in their bag for Halloween.
All right. So, yep, very good. Very happy with the reconciliation popsicle. I think this should become a thing. I think everyone should make those kind of popsicle and offer them to people they are wrong.
People they have wronged, like on
The
a
world
personal
would be a better
level. Like that's a lot of popsicles. Anyway.
That's
There's a lot of popsicles, but
And
you
a
know
lot
what?
of diabetes. I don't think giving your friends diabetes when you've wronged them.
If diabetes is what it takes to make peace,
We'll do it.
we'll do it.
Thank you, Chef Diane.
We love you, Chef Diane.
See you guys
You
next
bet.
week.
You're a
Stay
spicy meatball.
weird. Oh.
This is why you keep coming back, because it's n'importe quoi.
A couple of reminders before we go to the meat is out now.
Meat
We're going
is
to cut
out.
that in a little bit. Normally, you would let this sit for
Normally, I'd let it rest for 20 minutes. We're going to let it rest for
a
about
couple
10.
10 minutes. But that's fine because we're so. And you got the pitas are in?
I took the pitas, I put them in some foil, or actually Danny did, and we threw them in the oven at 350 just to heat them up a little bit.
Make them a little soft. Make them a little soft.
A little soft.
Make them a little soft. A couple of reminders. First of all, if you love our Stir Crazy aprons, you too can have one of these. All you have to do is go to our tip jar, which is paypal.me/stircrazyshow. Any tip over $25, you will get one of these sent to you. Or if you want to go to our Amazon wish list, which you can see both of those links in the chat, go to there, purchase anything over $25, and you will automatically get sent one as well.
If you're like me and you've been taking your CERB and giving it to to worthy organizations that your tax dollars should be going to in the first place.
Fair.
There will be links at the end of the show to Black Lives Matter, to a bunch of Indigenous charities. I'm a big fan because, tragically, the Gordon Downey, the Downey Wenjack Foundation is incredible. The stuff is it's up there. So as much as Dan's going to get upset with me, if you don't want to give money to us, it makes us sad, but we understand. But give some money.
I have no problem. I have no problem with you donating to charity. No matter what my wife may think of me, I'm fine with you donating to charity.
Oh, he's going to walk away now. He's a lovely person.
I think charity's good.
We give a lot of charity.
I think you don't understand what charity is. I don't understand. I'm on the mic still. My mic is still live.
You are still live, and you walked away, and it's making me feel weird. So yeah, we got a lot of work to do, friends. But there's links at the end of the show. If you want to hang around till we play out, there's some stuff there where you can put your dollars and learn some stuff. Like I learned stuff today about the Lachine massacre that I didn't know about. And there's a lot of information out there. And
I think one of the things is that right now, especially with a lot of people becoming aware of a variety of things happening in the world, what it should inspire you is to find out more. I think a great example.
And to drink.
I think a great example is the Tulsa Massacre.
Yep.
The Tulsa Massacre, which came out of watching a TV show for me. I watched the
the Tulsa Massacre didn't come out.
Let me finish the statement, okay? I understand where you're going to make fun of me, but that's fine.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm clarifying.
I'm trying to get my sentence out. Where I learned about the Tulsa Massacre watching Watchmen for the first time, and through that started doing some, and it's an amazing, it's a horrid thing that happened in this world, and then you start from there, you start to realize how that translates to here.
When you say it's amazing, I think what you mean is it's amazing that we don't know about
we don't know about these things. And in Canada,
us.
I think there's so many things that are that have happened to the Indigenous culture that we whitewash very clearly.
And I think also, in all fairness, and again, like we've definitely had 2 very boozy cocktails on an empty stomach, but
I'm fine.
The First Nations people of this country take care of the land in a way that we don't, in a way that white colonials, like settlers, capitalists, blah blah, we don't care about our land. We don't acknowledge the land. We don't acknowledge Mother Earth. We don't acknowledge our resources. And instead of maybe this narrative of what we've created, residential schools and this and that, we can turn back to our ancestors, and they can provide, I think, a lot of guidance in how to make our world better. No society, no culture, no whatever is perfect, but we have stewards of our land and our water in Canada that we ignore, who treat our country with far more respect than we do. And maybe it's time that we start pivoting a little bit that way, and that we inform ourselves as white people of whose land we're on, and we've put up a link, and what that culture is about, and who the Iroquois Nation were, the Iroquois Confederacy, and I mean there's so much, and it's so rich as history that do the thing.
Do the thing, and just the links of ours are up there.
Our links are up,
and according to Bonnie, because I hate charity so much.
I never said.
And no matter what,
charity.
Our links are up there. Can we make some donaires, please?
We can. We got 3 minutes on the keyboard. Let's take this out.
Let's take that out. Do you want me to help?
No, I'm going to take my burnt fingers out. Okay, so this little guy doesn't look so attractive. I'm going to be honest.
He's a sad-looking little dude.
He's a sad-looking little dude because he shrunk a little bit while being cooked. Oops, and now I've made a mess because drinks. And a sponge. Can I have a sponge? Oh, yay.
There we go.
It's a disaster
so
up in here, but it's a delicious
now. Again,
disaster.
This would normally be in a big...
It would be on the spit.
Big spit, being a big cyclone. The key here is we want to slice that as thinly as possible.
You almost want to shave it. You know what I mean? You almost want to shave that with your knife.
If you let that sit for 20, 30 minutes, you're going to get a better...
it'll hold together a little bit better. But I think given that it's ground meat, it's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple of air bubbles in there, but...
Come back here.
We're just gonna slice up our meat.
Oh, pitas?
Not yet. I put a timer.
Oh, okay, wasn't sure.
I know I've had alcohol, so now I have to put fail safes in place for stuff.
All right. Marie Boucher says, being Quebecois, my first step in learning about the 11 native nations of Quebec was this link here. There's a link right there for people if you're interested in learning about the 11 native nations of Quebec.
You know what else I dig about this is that for the most part, and I can't see you, but I know that we have a lot of white people who watch our show, and us having these conversations amongst each other to try to help educate each other takes a lot of pressure off people of color, Indigenous people, Black people from having to do it for us. So I love this little community that we're starting to build because we're thoughtful peeps.
Yeah.
So last week someone was like, oh, we're so sorry that we're having a chat in your chat. Have a chat. Talk to your people. Like, it's good. This is how change happens and how we learn about stuff, and I'm all for it.
Zhao Wolf was just asking, is there anything you'd recommend to watch, read in Black Lives Matter movement, societal racial awareness, Indigenous history, and current injustice treatment? Also about the Lachine and Tulsa massacres. I've recently been up to the northern Quebec in a town in Nunavut and learned some of the things the government and RCMP did up there too, that we have never even heard of here. I was horrified and shocked of actions, yes, but even more so the discreet underhandedness. And in all fairness, that's the story of North America in general.
Oh God, we're about to sign off soon, but that's systems. And again, if you guys want a Stir Crazy podcast, we talk about this stuff all the time, but we don't necessarily want to talk about it here because we promise cocktails and fun and a little bit of learning.
And I think we should never be scared to go into these places on this show. But I also think that this show is going to have a little bit of this, so it's hard to say. And now that we've done that, here's some pitas.
And I think that's also part of it. I'm not crying. You get that? I'm going to say something, and I'm going to regret saying this, but
let's.
It's not about feeling bad for white people right now, but I understand that a lot of white people are overwhelmed, especially a lot of people who thought that they weren't racist, and all of a sudden they're like, holy shit, like, I didn't realize this, I didn't realize that, So it's a big awakening for a lot of people, and I think I'm reading right now Me and White Supremacy. I've also ordered a copy of White Fragility because I think this kind of stuff is important. If you go and follow us on Facebook, I've posted a few links. I will continue to post links to stuff that I'm reading, but I also find it weird as a white person to be like, oh, hey, I'm reading this book, or I'm
also
doing this
at the end
work.
of our credits, there are a couple of links for the Black Lives Matter movement in Canada and different organizations that assist in the Black Lives Matter movement. Check those out. They're at the end of the credits.
But just read, guys. I mean, you're here on the internet anyways.
No, but they were asking us what we knew, and we said this is a place where if there's any place to start, and it's by no means an extensive list, but it is a place to start by all means.
And every little bit, I think honestly, every little bit counts. Like, do some stuff. We were talking a couple of weeks ago about. A lot of people think charity donations have to be in the hundreds of dollars, but if you got $5 and then you can throw it somewhere, it's going to help. It really will.
Let's make some Halifax donaires. I'm hungry. I'm so hungry.
Me too. I'm hungry. So I only got one.
You want your pita to be soft. I will say that. There was one there that was a little crunchy, and I thought that one's not going to be very good.
I'll eat that with my baba ganoush.
So, thank you very much. Do you want the fork?
No, you're going to fork. I'm going to go over here because it's my nature, and I just want to see what the peeps are saying because I can't help it.
Well, that's fine. I'm going to make some food. For this, you always just want to take a big chunk of your meat. I'm going to fill that into the center there. We're going to take some tomato because I love tomato on mine. And while that's happening, I'm going to then add, this is the best part. This is the key to the Halifax donaire, is this gorgeous sweet sauce. It is the perfect consistency. It should be, and I like a lot of that on there. So we're going to put that. Now, normally you would foil this up as you go. We're going to just roll this. Get that in there. Oh, look at that. Can we?
Oh, can you?
we tried to get into a Oh, that's so good. The meat is
that
perfect.
so good? All right, I'm gonna make
Meat is
mine
delicious.
because apparently this is drunk food, and I'm feeling a little drunk, so it's good. Remember before all of my wiggle room peeps an hour ago? Remember when it used to take me like 1.5 liters of wine? Yeah, no, not anymore. Which is probably healthier. It's probably good. You're pleased with that? Is that what you're? Is that the vibe I'm getting over here?
I want to do a supercut.
Oh, yeah. Of all of you eating all my food,
Every time I eat the food, I go, oh! Every time I do it. I don't know why.
I love it. That's great.
So
It means that you really are passionate about
I am.
your mouthfeel.
This is so good. It's terrible to be in a position where I have to talk now.
Oh no, my mother called us out on that. Apparently, we I learned recently that we eat too much off our own stuff, but it's just the two of us at home.
Yeah.
If we were cooking in a restaurant, I would never stick my hands in.
No.
But that's the benefit and bonus of being quarantined with someone for, 14 shows.
That's excellent.
Thank you.
These cocktails were really good too.
Cocktails were delicious. Do we have anything to tell the people before we leave the people?
Yeah, the contest one more time. Go to the YouTube channel.
Tell us when you want to rewatch After Dark.
Well, we said next Friday. If they're
Next
into it,
Friday?
the people who said that.
You guys are into it? Let's do it.
So we'll try that again. And this time we'll make it work. Also, we're going to have the contest, which is we're drawing next.
Well, we're announcing next Thursday.
We're announcing next Thursday. The draw is closed on the 7th.
The 7th is 2 days before our show.
2 days before our show. So if you want to be,
Tuesday.
if you want to be eligible, need to like our Facebook page, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Instagram. If you're not on all three, you won't be eligible. So make sure you are on all three. If you want, one more time, you want an apron, the links are in the chat feed. Next week is a very special week.
It is.
We are doing tropical drinks.
We are doing tropical drinks and tropical flavors. We have got the incredible Ben Cardilli live.
Can we just do donaires again?
No, you can eat donaires whenever you want because now I know how to make them. And apparently it's good. We have Ben Cardilli live with us next week.
Ben Cardilli is going to be here live.
We have tropical
and
flavors.
His album is launching next Friday. The Great Indoors. Will be on iTunes. If you follow him on Instagram, he had a little picture of him
on the iTunes
of his album on iTunes. So that'll be there. Chef Deanne will be here. The sexy woman who eats food for a minute will be back.
I'm bringing a new segment.
You're finally bringing your burlesque bites. We're bringing more burlesque into Saint Cassette. I'm going to start with my beautiful wife, Elle Diabloe's burlesque bites.
Burlesque bites.
I like burlesque bits.
I know you like burlesque bits, but like burlesque bites is supposed to be like an amuse-bouche.
Yeah, but these are your burlesque bits.
I know where my burlesque bits are. Thank you very much.
I sort of vaguely
pointed to my general being. But
I algorithm pointed.
All of this to say, join us next week. Thank you for being with us tonight.
I'm the Divine Eddie D.
I am Elle Diabloe. We love you, Stir Crazy fam.
Take care of each other.
Take care of each other. Wear a mask, please.
Wear a bloody mask.
It's not about politics. It's about consideration.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.